So welcome everyone to the final presentation of the 3-College Wintersession program 2014. Our partner is HealthWorks Community Fitness, and if you were at all affected the way that we were when we saw that video, you can understand why we selected them as our partner. My name is Jana Zimmerman. I'm the Wellesley coordinator, and our students from Wellesley are, raise your hands. We have Sue Yoon, Amy Wickett, Trang Nguyen, and Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Wendy Sachs. I'm the coordinator from Babson College, and our Babson participants are Mitch McKinnon, Raycent Tan, Micheline Wilkerson, Taylor Roberts, Alyssa Reisner, and Sang Kim.
So this is just a brief presentation outline. Wendy and I are going to talk a bit about the logistics of coordinating the program, sort of the nuts and bolts of things, and then we'll give you a brief overview of where our project started and some of the pivot points that we hit along the way. We had to stay flexible and keep adjusting things as we learned more about the needs of our client. And then most of the presentation is going to be given by our participants, and they have worked very, very hard these past 2 weeks, barely given themselves a break, and I'm really looking forward to what you think of the work that they've done.
So the coordinators, me and Jana, began this process back in June of 2013, meeting over the summer through virtual means to plan this program and figure out how we were going to find our client and how we were going to set up all of the different resources that we needed for the project. So in September, we got back on campus. We're able to meet face-to-face along with Jessica McCarthy and Joanne Kossuth. And we were able to select our partner, HealthWorks Community Fitness. And Max, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand. This is our client. Throughout October and November of this past semester, we were able to organize our room and board situation, which involved staying in the Babson Executive Conference Center, which was a great experience.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yes, thank you. As well as some home-cooked meals in the Goff Suite. And we also were able to meet with Max further and figure out what exactly the scope of our project was going to be. And then in December, we asked the students from each of the colleges to apply and selected our participants, and then beginning in January until now, we outlined our project, scheduled, and ran the entire project in 2 weeks.
So this is a tri-college program. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Olin was unable to participate. It was not planned, and it's not their fault. But they were very generous with their space and their resources, and we're extremely grateful for that. Initially, we began by viewing two different sides of the problem. One would be to make the public website for HealthWorks Community Fitness more accessible to the public and containing more information that would be useful to the members. And the other would be looking at a private management site so that the staff members could organize their members and the member payments and their donors and partners, etc. After our first meeting with Max and the rest of the team, we were informed that there's leadership change happening fairly soon, and the public website is going to be redesigned as a part of that leadership change. So we moved from that to looking at outreach research, so how to expand the network of partners and donors, and the doctor referral program that was mentioned in the video. Also, we realized that the existing data management system, eClub Logic, was working for HealthWorks, but that its usefulness could be optimized and that it could do very many more things than were easily recognizable. Into the second week, we took the outreach and research and moved into a marketing and branding campaign. So not just who to reach out to, but actually how to reach out to them. And then our data team worked on making a troubleshooting guide and a manual so that using this complicated software, it's a very powerful tool, but making the complicated software more easy to understand and giving HealthWorks something to give their interns and volunteers so that the staff members don't have to spend a lot of time intensively training everybody how to use this program. And please welcome our students up to the front. They're going to tell you about the work they've done in each of these areas the past 2 weeks.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Micheline Wilkerson, and I'm from Babson College.
I'm Alyssa, and I'm also from Babson College.
Hi, I'm Sue. I'm from Wellesley College.
Hello, I'm Taylor Roberts. I'm from Babson College.
Hi, my name is Sang-hyun, and I'm from Babson College. And we're the marketing and research team. So, during our first visit to Healthsport Community Fitness at Codman, we were able to identify 3 problems. One, they had difficulty tracking their past donor, partners, and referral prescriptions. So as a result, they couldn't effectively communicate with their current partners, donors, and referral prescriptions. 2, they needed a wider network of contacts and resources from nearby establishments such as clinics, hospitals, which is very important for their prescription referral program. And in case you're wondering, prescription referral program is the program where a person walks into Healthsport Community Fitness and they will exercise for 3 months at no charge when they bring their doctor's referral prescriptions. Now, the third problem is that they really need grant to fund their program. And so to solve these problems, we came up with a sortable spreadsheet. And this, which we'll show in the next slide, but for now we'll just talk about it. So in this spreadsheet, we made it so that Healthsport Community Fitness can organize their current list of donors, partners, and referral prescriptions in an organized manner, which would save them time. And we also, in that same spreadsheet, we also added new contacts, such as nearby hospitals, libraries, schools, and while we were choosing these contacts, we carefully chose only the contacts where their missions were matching the missions of the Healthsport Community Fitness. Now, lastly, we gathered grants that Healthsport Community Fitness could qualify for. Now, here's a screenshot of the spreadsheet that I've been talking about. As you can see, the company name is organized in alphabetical order, and it is we also have contact person for each company. And it is very important that we have contact person for each company because we don't want Healthsport Community Fitness to waste their limited time and resource contacting people who doesn't have final decision or have the power to make that final decisions. And for each contact person, we have included position, their phone number, and email. And we also added the distance away from Healthsport Community Fitness for each company because you have to understand that Healthsport Community Fitness is a community program. And now I'll give the mic to Alyssa for marketing.
Hi. So after we did a lot of research, we wanted to move on to a different section because we wanted them to be able to reach out to the people that we had established in the resources and also reach out to people for members. And one of the main problems that we talked to Max about is brand recognition. So they're a fairly new organization and they want to be community oriented, so they need to be known throughout the community, not just in their members, but also in all of the people. So we solved this in many different marketing suggestions, but we kind of categorized it and grounded it in these 2 different sections to where we kind of came up with a color, font, and format theme that can make it consistent so you can start recognizing something that is a community or Healthworks Community Fitness product or advertisement. And then we also did a brand positioning statement to really establish what value they bring to the customer, and so that each of their future marketing endeavors will really be grounded in that idea of bringing value to their members, and they can stay consistent in that way as well. So we came up with many suggestions which are detailed in our report, but we just wanted to give you a few examples of what we did. So we focused a lot on promotion because that is something that can get out the word for their brand recognition. Right now they're doing a lot of word of mouth, and that's great. So we wanted to really focus on how they could make that word of mouth more efficient. One of the ideas we came up with is having community ambassadors. So having members of the HealthWorks Community Fitness volunteer to really focus on telling people about their experiences and showing it off. We also really want them to focus on having merchandise. They currently have t-shirts, but we think it would be really cool for the members to have that more readily accessible and have other products that they can show off and be proud of their fitness center. And also, the online presence we think could really be used. People are on Facebook or Twitter all the time already, and they can use that to show off their favorite fitness center. Another one of our unique ideas was having a community event so that we're reaching out to not just the women who are part of the fitness center, but also the community so that it still has that great orientation, and we really want it to be known throughout Dorchester.
Okay, so while we were focusing on marketing, we wanted to choose a model that is simple enough for HealthWorks Community Fitness to implement now as well as in the future. This marketing model, also known as ACT, is also very great for online marketing, which is very relevant for HCF because of the fact that marketing on social media is no longer an option. It's a requirement if you are in business because it's a main stream of communication with your clientele. So, and lastly, the ACT model is also great for traditional marketing means as well. So focusing on the ACT model, we have, of course, attracting. How are you going to attract your customer to your business? Well, that's very obvious. We also incorporated, well, how can you attract your customer in a way that differentiates yourself from other competing gyms in the area, such as Planet Fitness, the YMCA, vice versa. Secondly, the second step in this marketing methodology that we use to apply for the marketing strategies that we came up with is conversion. Okay, so a great marketing strategy does not only get people to recognize HCF, but it also has the power to make people take action. And with action, you can either have your prospect turn into one of two things. A consumer, someone who consumes information from your website, blog, social media, and hopefully that consumer, if not already immediately turn into a customer, will become a paying customer of services and membership at HealthWorks Community Fitness. And then lastly, a very strong strength of any marketing strategy or solution is being able to transform that conversion once you have your prospect become a consumer or customer. And when you're transforming, it involves utilizing the positive experiences that members of HCF have already had and trying to use that as a means of attaining a new customer base, and as well as also creating loyalty with your current customer base. Next. So this kind of draws back to our process and how we got to using that methodology that HealthWorks Community Fitness can implement now with our current solution, which probably in Q&A we'll get more into detail about that. But yeah, this is a process. So one of the things that we did, we took a very traditional marketing tool, which is the 4 Ps analysis. And the 4 Ps analysis basically gives a description of the marketing tools that HCF, in this case, will already have. So you have price, place, product, and promotion. And we use this as a means of outlining every detail that we knew about HealthWorks Community Fitness as a way of creating new programs, specifically the Community Ambassador Program that we focused on. All right, and we're going to turn over the board to the database management system that was worked on during the course of this project.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mitchell McKinnon, and with me we have...
My name is Trang. I'm from Wesley College.
My name is Raisin Tan.
My name is Amy Wickett.
And my name is Sarah Carlson.
And we are the Data Management Systems team. Okay, so HealthWorks Community Fitness currently runs on eClub Logic software. To preface this, I am not a software engineer or really anything close, but I am an economist. So I analyzed this system for efficiency and if we could optimize the short run software things. So first we have the analysis of eClub Logic. So I researched in a gamut of ways. I called eClub and asked them to tell me about their software and had them pitch it to me. HealthWorks was nice enough to let me comb through their system and kind of look at things. So really I compiled that the benefits of eClub Logic are that it can do so many things. It has so much potential for data input and data management. However, the shortcomings are it's not very user accessible. It takes quite a bit of time to input data, and it's very hard to change data once it has been inputted. And here's a screenshot. So this is the member ID. So when someone scans in at HealthWorks, this is kind of the information that comes up. So when we went to HealthWorks Community Fitness, I talked to the leader in kind of their software management, and she addressed 4 major problems. So one was staff permissions and security. So eClub technically has the ability to limit which permissions different groups of employees has. So we have the possibility of limiting who can see credit card receipts or who can change time clocks and things like that. So included in the manual is a way to set up a system of that and change the permissions. Staff management, currently one of the great things HealthWorks Community Fitness offers are personal training sessions and health consultantships. So eClub technically has the possibility of incorporating that into the schedule, so that way we can see who is giving these sessions, how well attended are they, what members are taking advantage of them, and so that there's also a little step-by-step. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's in there. Data integrity is another big component. So when HealthWorks Community Fitness writes up their grants, they need to have accurate numbers of how many members and the attendance. So currently there are some data duplicates because of misspellings of last names, so members are double counted, or Dorchester is misspelled, so it's not counted as a citizen of Dorchester. So there's some step-by-step things on how to clean their data and how to comb through their data so they can have accurate numbers. Lastly is volunteer management. A lot of people want to help out at HealthWorks Community Fitness, and we want to make sure that HealthWorks is managing these people and giving them easy scheduling. So since I'm an economist, I made a spreadsheet. So here it is. So we made it a little bit easier. So they have drop-down menus so they can show availability, which location they're at, because I don't know if we've mentioned that, but there are 2 locations of HealthWorks. One is in Codman and one's St. Mary's. So, but then we have past events they've worked, so in the next slide you'll get to see some fun stuff too. So that way you can filter and see where your volunteers have worked in the past, so then when you're trying to do a volunteer list for future events, you can say, oh, these people worked the coat drive, let's invite them back. And so then the next slide shows you how you can filter. And so this will work for every section, so that way they can filter based on availability or on the duties that they can do or the location. So yeah, and that is me. Here's Mitch.
Thank you, Amy. The management of many is the same as the management of few. It is all a matter of organization. Wise words from Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Who knew it could apply to database management systems as well as business and every other part of life? So what I'm going to bring you through, Amy brought you through a short-term solution. She was working on looking at eClub Logic and what HealthWorks Community Fitness could actually do with eClub Logic since they already have it. I'm taking a different approach, and I'm going to be going over a more long-term solution, a potential solution, in that you'll be creating a new database management system for HealthWorks Community Fitness. So we're going to start with forms. So forms are just a manner of input. So you can imagine this as when you go to a fitness class, you sign in your name, use your member ID, and that's tracked. When you go in to sign up as a new member, that information is tracked. And so when you think about this, it might seem a little backward to start with the forms, But bear with me. When you start with the forms, the reasoning behind this is that when you start with the forms, you're finding out where you collect specific information and what information can be collected. So as you can see, we have a couple different forms we created. The first one is a member registration form. As you can see, it has basic information. We created this form on Google Forms. Simple, it works, it'll store the information, it can be exported, it can be imported to the main database from there, and it's using the same questions as are on the normal sign-up form, which is currently a paper copy. So we're going digital. We're going to make it very easy so we don't have to manually input the data. People can do this when they walk into the gym. So moving forward, I'll go over the next form. So we have child information, just picking up on information about the children of the members. We have class attendance, class information, feedback. Very important. The goal was to get information that could make actionable reports when moving forward. So after the forms, we moved on to the database prototype. So I was working on this, and you might ask, well, where did you start with this? So we started with a very complex and advanced method of writing down on sticky notes and putting them on a whiteboard. As you can see, it becomes a little bit messy. But we started by doing that, and what we did was we actually looked at the total information we can collect. What information is available at this gym? Entirely. We looked at everything. From there, we narrowed down to what should we collect. So we went from everything we can collect to what should we collect for actionable reports. And after that, we worked on mapping the relationships between the pieces of data. So when you're building a database management system, you need to link the tables of information so that reports can be generated. That way you know that somebody who attended one class has this member information. As you can see, I did map out this. Our team mapped out the entity relationship diagram. This is more technical information. So the entity relationship diagram shows the different tables of information and how they're related, whether it's a one-to-many relationship. And in that, you can imagine one professor has many students. And you can also imagine that one student could have many professors, in which you would put in a linking table. I won't get into all the details. If you'd like to chat about it later, I'd love to have the conversation. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. So we started by mapping the entity relationships. We created the Microsoft Access design of those relationships, which I'll show you in the next slide, and then the form designs. So this is what those relationships look like in Microsoft Access. This is the back end of Microsoft Access. You'll be inputting in forms, and from there, the database system will be able to recognize how that piece of information is related from the top in one table to the bottom in another. If we go to the next slide, you'll see that we have this navigation form. We put this together. It's a very simple design. It keeps everything in one place. All you have to do is open up your computer, open the database management system. The navigation slide automatically pops up. You'll have a member sign-up form, the child sign-up form, employee sign-up form. You'll be able to search for specific members, search for employees, search for children, and eventually be able to generate reports on specific classes, what feedback was given on what classes, which member was giving what feedback, which members have paid, which ones haven't. So as you can see, this is integrating all of the information, whereas the past system, it was a little bit scattered. This system takes everything, their email addresses, member information, employee information, class information. It's taking everything and putting it into one place. That way the computer can recognize the relationships, and from that, create actionable metrics with which you can move forward and determine, whose classes are most popular, who's been doing really well. Will we get the money to put someone else on payroll? Who deserves it? Who's teaching our classes as just a volunteer? It gives you very useful metrics when you create a form like this. So moving on, we looked, since I'm no professional database management system designer, we looked at who is. If we designed this prototype, if we took it to a certain level, well, what then? We only have a two-week program. So we took a look at who could take this off of our hands and create a more refined and secure database management system. And we came up with a couple different options, and we did a cost-benefit analysis of that. So moving on to the next slide, you'll see that we have a table here. This table outlines the different people, price ranges, we have the location, we have the positive reviews. We looked at different metrics. So this isn't the entire list. We looked at many different people, and we narrowed it down to this. As you can see, one of the main difficulties could be distance. It's a potential inhibitor in the project. But we did look at benefits such as female-owned. One company is female-owned, and the benefit of this is that it's in line with the value proposition and the mission statement of HealthWorks Community Fitness. And we thought that that would be important, and it's something that we could rally the developer along with. So this is the form we went along with, and there are different pros and cons depending on who you're looking for. You have companies, you have contractors, and you have products. You can think of the companies as these big entities who give you the service. With the service, you have access to people to talk to if you need help. They have the resources. But the problem with this is that it won't be custom made for you. When you're trying to input something, you might have to kind of jerry-rig it a little bit and make one thing seem a little bit different just to fit what you're trying to get out of it. Kind of like eClub Logic right now. The benefit of a contractor is it's a tailored system. You can work side by side with this person as they're designing the database management system. You could sit down with them, tell them the reports you need to be generated, what you would like to see in it, the design you would like to see, everything. Now the con to this is that it could be expensive. It could be expensive and it could take a little bit of time. Now, in terms of products, these you can just think of as licensed products, which you can go on, you can buy, but they won't have the same level of service that goes along with them. So this is the database management system section. We'd like to move on to the conclusions with Sarah.
Thank you very much. So we actually took a little bit of time to sit down and think about how HealthWorks Community Fitness has impacted us and how we have impacted HealthWorks Community Fitness. So to start, we're going to start with our impact on HealthWorks Community Fitness. So we just hope that with our new suggestions and resources, HealthWorks Community Fitness can use the data that they have in the most efficient way possible, and that the overall internal data management system runs in a most efficient way possible. And through the marketing and branding, we hope that their research will lead to greater community awareness, including more awareness for the doctor referral program, which could definitely get more awareness right now. And we also believe that with the new branding and marketing strategy, HealthWorks Community Fitness will be able to grow a larger donor, partner, and volunteer base. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about HealthWorks Community Fitness impact on us, which was a lot larger than perhaps we thought it would be when first coming into this program. So over the course of 2 weeks, we all gained experience working with people of different educational backgrounds. For example, I go to Wellesley College, and I don't necessarily get to talk to people who go to a business school and know about business and presenting. And we all had the benefits of volunteering on 2 different levels. Those include, well, the first one is volunteering physically. So we went to the Codman location on Tuesday, and we actually worked cleaning around and just kind of working on maintaining the facilities. And then the second level would be in business and marketing operations. So we have the database management team, and we also have the marketing team as well. And so the impact specifically on the database management team, since I'm a part of it, I especially know that I definitely got more exposure to technological systems and database systems. I had no exposure to that whatsoever before this program. I'm a first year, I go to Wellesley. We don't really study that. So that was really nice to gain access to that. And some of the impact on the marketing and branding team, through their research, they gained knowledge of health and fitness resources in the greater Boston area. And they also got experience developing a marketing strategy, which especially can be useful for the Babson students, since they'll be using that in the future. And so next is how can HealthWorks Community Fitness use what we're doing in their future. So for the short term, they can use eClub Logic. We're kind of helping them utilize their full abilities in the short term because that's not a long-term solution. And then we also help them use simple forms. So rather than using like inefficient methods, writing on paper, using Excel, now we helped them use more efficient methods. And in the long term, they can find database management system developers. So on my team, the database team, we did research possible contractors, companies, and possible people, companies, and products that they could use in the future as a long-term option. And then this system will be customized specifically to them, as eClub is not right now, and the operation will thereby be more efficient. And so, because of the marketing and branding's work, the future of HealthWorks Community Fitness, they can establish contact with possible future volunteers and donors, and then they can use marketing work to build brand awareness through their merchandise. And then they can also contact more doctors for referrals, which would broaden their base of customers and clients. So those are a few ways that we were impacted by HealthWorks Community Fitness and how we impacted them. Thank you.
So before we give you the opportunity to ask questions of our participants, we would like to thank Joanne Kosuth from Olin College and Jessica McCarthy from the Three College Collaborative, who has been just indescribably helpful. Ellen Bailey from Olin, who has done our finances. Max, of course, we couldn't have done it without you. And to her staff at HCF and to the Babson Executive Conference Center and to everybody else who has helped make this project come true. And you guests for listening. We have given Max a set of detailed reports on the work that we've done that goes into much more depth than what was described in the presentation today. And if you have any questions, we'd be happy to take them now. Oh, please enjoy the slideshow you're gonna get to see photos of our work as we've gone through it. Alex.
Wonderful. I mean, we have a very small staff. I mean, there are 2 locations, and the organization originally was started as a private foundation, which is why it functioned a little differently, and we didn't track, and we didn't, have these relationships with donors because that was not in the picture when we originally started. So a few years ago, we did apply to become a public charity, and we were granted advanced ruling as a 501c3. And now we are in need of really identifying stakeholders, donors, volunteers, and really connecting and having a method of not only aggregating those resources, but also reaching out and communicating to them. And so, but we also have a very small staff, and we all do everything. So it's been really difficult, even though we know that we've needed to do this, we just haven't physically been able to do it. So this has been a lifesaver for us, and I mean, this year we really want to make a huge effort in outreach, donors. Everything that the students worked on for us was something that we desperately wanted to try and achieve. And I think what they've done is going to really help us in this year to achieve some of those goals. So I'm really excited, I'm really grateful, and we're really thankful that they were able to do this stuff for us.
Thank you very much. My question's in regards to database management. I'm a little confused in this. I think I heard early on that it was very inefficient. eClub Logic is a very inefficient system, that inputting information was not necessarily there, that there wasn't a lot of data integrity in terms of errors could happen, and so there was a lot of tweaking potentially in eClub Logic, which I assume is produced by a third-party vendor. I mean, with a name like eClub Logic, I assume that Planet Fitness and/or your other competitors or whatever may be using it. So it seems to me like it's probably a fairly well-tailored database for health clubs. Okay, and then on the other hand, I heard about the future in potentially developing a new database, in 2 weeks or less, and automatically making a leap to going to a different database system. That seems like a very large leap to me. And was there any consideration to extending eClub Logic? Is it is it licensable that you can extend it, and maybe that's the best thing to do? Or it just seems like there's a large gulf there.
Yes, so our thinking behind this, we split up and we want to have several suggestions moving forward for Max to look at. So we split the IT team into 4 different groups, and one of them was looking at the current database system, which is eClub Logic. The current eClub Logic that is owned by HealthWorks Community Fitness is actually an outdated version, and so it can work. but it is more efficient at tracking products and sales. So you can input a class as a product, technically, and then have sales, aka people attending the course. So there are ways to get around it not being perfectly custom made for HealthWorks Community Fitness. You can use it, and it will work. But it's not customized specifically for HealthWorks Community Fitness.
Neither is it actually a gym. It's not a fitness center management system. It's not. It is a database management system. It's designed for companies, products, sales. So there are no things for instructors or classes. That's all things that HealthWorks has had to jerry-rig inside the system, and that takes a lot of time and effort. Has it been what? It's a very outdated version. I think it runs on like Windows 95 or something.
One thing before I answer, I just want to mention that we did jump into creating a new database management system to basically show the potential that Microsoft Access has, in that eClub Logic only operates on one computer unless you upgrade, which will cost quite a bit of money. Whereas with Microsoft Access, you can license it to different computers for a lower price, and it can work over a network. And so there is potential with Microsoft Access. So by trying to build a framework for it, our potential plan in the long term was to have that pass off to an independent contractor who might be able to further develop it, if that makes sense.
It seemed like all of the database options you explored involved commercial vendors. Given the large number of colleges in the Boston area, and given the professional community that exists, I would be surprised if you could not recruit volunteers from among those that worked in the industry, that would work also with college students, that would give them intern experience, such that the database could be constructed and maintained by volunteers, given some appropriate level of management. And it seems like this would be a major cost savings, because it seems like hiring a database vendor to develop one from scratch is a major expense, and a continuous expense over time in terms of maintaining it. So I'd just be curious about your comments on that.
So do we have time to update the presentation with one more suggestion?
Not today, unfortunately.
So I think that that's definitely an excellent suggestion. In terms of the research we were able to do, in 2 weeks we didn't have the resources to reach out to colleges and research who could volunteer and which colleges to go to for database management systems. But I love the idea. I'm sure Max would love the idea.
Yeah, so we did only have 2 weeks for the program, so a lot of what we were trying to do was lay out a base and a groundwork so that HealthWorks couldn't take that and run forward with it and look for opportunities along these lines and partners who would be able to help them out with resources, either volunteered or through interns. Questions? We're also available by email.